I can only speak for myself, but as a voter, I will not vote for him until I hear something.
Really?
Yeah, I won't, because I think these accusations are of a serious enough nature. And to hear that his attorney is coming out and saying that his witnesses, or that he has witnesses that are going to corroborate the story of Jameis Winston, okay, that's fine, okay? But I want to hear from him in this case. And he has every right legally to exercise his right not to speak to the police. I understand that.
Which he reportedly did.
Right. So supposedly he isn't speaking on
right.
this. That's fine. You know, legally I understand why that's a move that's appropriate.
Sure.
But I think for a Heisman voter, we're not just looking at what his legal rights are. I think we have a right and we have an obligation, quite frankly, to uphold the standards of the trophy. And the standards of the trophy are going to be about character. And everybody's talked about Johnny Manziel and signing memorabilia or going to these parties. I mean, we're talking about a rape allegation here. If it's a case of mistaken identity, come out and tell us that. You know, I don't want to get into graphic details. I mean, obviously we're talking about a rape investigation here.
Sure.
And why are there witnesses to what happened? And why are they saying that, you know, that they're supporting his statement in this and they believe that it isn't an assault? I don't want to get into those
there's
details.
just a lot that we don't know at this moment, which is why we chose Christine Brennan. We chose her. She's a Heisman voter. She's a woman, and she has the same perspective that you do. Yeah,
and I just don't see it. In a case like this, when we're talking about an award that supposedly takes character into account. And first, let me back up and say, you know, like his attorney, I am very suspicious about why these allegations have resurfaced, because the case apparently went away. But with all of that being in mind, I still believe that he needs to come out and say what the circumstances are here. It's a serious enough allegation where just the allegation is sufficient, in my mind, to withhold a vote for him.
So it could actually save him in the Heisman race if he would speak out now and explain himself?
Right, and once again, you know, I don't want to say that, you know, his winning a Heisman is more important than exercising his legal rights. But if you are completely innocent in a case like this, and believe me, I understand why in the law, even if you're innocent, sometimes you don't want to make a statement, but that is not the way that we handle it. That's not the threshold that we use when we're talking about the Heisman Trophy. We're not looking at the legal implications. We talk about all these other cases. You know, we talk about Cam Newton. All of those cases were determined before the Heisman Trophy voting. So to me, I don't think you can have this thing hanging out there like this, where you're talking about a rape investigation and you've made a choice. Your legal right to make that choice, but you've made a choice to not even make a statement and to allow witnesses to speak to the police and cooperate with police when you won't even make a statement. I don't agree with that, and I think it's our right and our responsibility, quite frankly, as Heisman voters.
And I'm sick to my stomach over the discussion, to be quite honest with you. On one hand, obviously, the alleged victim in all of this, anybody that's been victimized, a victim of sexual assault, we can't tolerate that as a society. We shouldn't. And obviously, whoever did such a thing needs to be dealt with severely. That's an obvious position. I listen to Robert, who I respect, obviously, and the lovely Christine Brennan, who's done a fantastic job at USA Today for many, many years. They make very valid points. I can't dismiss that. I understand exactly what Robert is saying. You're talking about this kind of allegation, and the thing that resonates with me in terms of what's coming out of Robert's mouth is that Jameis Winston hasn't come to his own defense. I'm sorry. If somebody accuses me of sexual assault and I know I'm innocent, oh, I'm going to scream to the high heavens. We're going to deal with this. The last thing I'm going to do is be silent and allow that to be put out there. I am incredibly suspicious, however, of the timing of this, how this has resurfaced, how they said that the alleged assailant was anywhere from, 5'9" to 5'11", when Jameis Winston is 6'4". They're talking about if you're 5'9", 240, that's short and stocky to me. Jameis Winston is obviously tall and lean, so I don't get that. But again, hearkening back to what Robert said, if I can make that point, and Skip can make that point, and Robert Smith can make that point, and the lawyers can make that point, and witnesses can prop up and they can make that point, why can't the person who's actually been implicated in all of this make that point on his own behalf? I don't know the answer to that question. But because we haven't heard from Jameis Winston, I have no problem with the position that Robert Smith has taken, that he would not vote for him, because I understand it. Something like this matters. You need to speak up for yourself. You're going to get my vote. I need to hear from you. That's basically what I'm hearing Robert say, and I can respect that position. But on the other hand, I keep reminding myself about how this is America. You are innocent until proven guilty. And clearly we are only talking about the legal system when it comes to that. Because as we've learned a long time ago, and we keep learning incident after incident after incident, innocent until proven guilty only applies to the court of law in this country. It certainly does not apply to the court of public opinion. I think it's sad, but it's our reality.
Back to your original point about you don't want to get too graphic, but let's go back to the alleged victim's original complaint that she filed almost a year ago. She did name Jameis Winston as somehow being involved. I don't know what that means, but it gives me pause. I read quotes from 4 other voters in the USA Today story today, featuring Christine Brennan's quote. She works for USA Today. And they're all pausing and waiting. They want to hear more. It's highly possible we will hear nothing more before the close of Heisman voting. In fact, it's probable we will hear nothing more, unless Jameis does decide to speak out, per what you said. Now, I had 2 weeks ago leaped to the conclusion it looks like Jameis has won the Heisman Trophy, because they play no one else to speak of from here on, and his numbers are good enough, and I think there was enough of a backlash against Johnny's off-season behavior that Jameis Winston just won the Heisman Trophy. Now I believe he just lost the Heisman Trophy.